Clifton-Brown.
Thank you, Ms Vaz, for allowing me to contribute to this debate, and I am grateful to my honourable friend from Gloucester, a neighbour, for getting this debate, and I'm glad to see that Gloucestershire is extremely well represented in this debate, the Premier County well represented. The Great Western Line, of course, serves two directions of my constituency. It serves the North Cotswold line from Oxford to Hereford via Morton-in-Marsh. It also serves the South Cotswold line going from Kemble through my constituency, through my honourable neighbour for Stroud's constituency, eventually to Swindon and some direct trains to Paddington. Of course, rail travel did drop over COVID, but it is coming back quite nicely now. So I therefore welcome the government's investment of £5 billion into the Great Western route, including £2.8 billion to continue improvements on routes as passengers return in their millions to travelling by train. The service provided by train lines and by train stations is important, and I was pleased to welcome the news that the government had scrapped the proposals to close all ticket offices. I received a considerable number of objections from constituents to this proposal, and more people these days do use websites and apps to plan and book their journeys, but having someone who is able to help on the platforms and ticket office can often make a huge difference to a journey, especially for elderly constituents and those with additional needs. We are trying, as my honourable friend for Gloucester did allude to encourage more people to use trains where they can. And for many, they have no other choice. Only 1 in 4 of our under-21s and fewer than 2/3 of our under-30s have a driving licence. So for those reliant on Great Western Line for work, school, hospital and appointments, the reliability of the service is essential. And since the end of the pandemic, train cancellations, regrettably, have been at the highest record since records began 12 years ago. More than 30% of trains were cancelled late last year. And the performance and reliability data from the independent website, which automatically processes data from Nail Network and ATOC, National Rail, datasets show in the last month, compared to 2017, the following. In 2017, 90% of trains were on time. Last month, 78.8%. Late 2017, 8% compared to 11.3%. Unfortunately, the worst statistic, very late or cancelled in 2017, just 2%. In the last month, very late or cancelled, 9.9%. And that does show a significant deterioration. And I have to say to the Railway Minister, up till recently, I've always regarded GWR service as being amongst the best. But in the last month or so, it does seem to have deteriorated significantly. And if one is relying on the railway to get to an appointment, for it to be late or cancelled is really quite a difficult thing. So the Great Western Line, from extremely delayed or cancelled trains due to flooding, signal issues, train waiting at Reading Station caused issues further up the line, broken rail crossing, we've already heard all this in the debate, which should have been avoided by proper preventative maintenance programme, surely ought to be fairly easy issues to fix. A particularly easy issue to fix was that Kemble Station has a Rolls-Royce of a waiting room and Rolls-Royce facilities, but they're always permanently closed. And so that does cause annoyance to my constituents. The rail line dualling, which I initiated some years ago at both Kemble to Swindon and at Morton-in-Marsh, cut journey times significantly. And if we could resurrect proposals to dual more of the railway from Oxford to Hereford, we could cut the journey time considerably. Finally, Mr Vaz, I praise the staff, as my honourable friend for Gloucester has done. The staff at Kemble in particular are delightful. They provide one of the services that is delightful at Kemble is the wonderful coffee and buns that you can purchase there. And I do congratulate the lady there who is incredibly nice and always reliable, always there, I have to say. So this does make rail travel a great deal more pleasant. So thank you, Madam Vaz, for allowing me to participate in this debate. And I hope the Rail Minister will be able to give GWR a little bit of a poke so that we can get the poor service of the last month greatly improved.